If you love $9 Monday and $2 Tuesday, you're really going to appreciate our new Throwback Thursday when all daily packages are slashed in half. Yes, you heard right. At both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, all Thursday daily packages are now 50% off. This means that a 4% package will be only $12.50. A 5% top-rated play, normally priced at $35, will be only $17.50. And the hottest sales item of the day, get a full day of access from the handicappers of your choice. That's one day of every applicable play they release, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $39 for only $19.50. The best part is you can come back every Thursday to take advantage of this limited time 50% off spring off.
Hey guys, welcome in here to Wager Talk TV. This is another episode of Puck Time. I am Andrew McGinnis. I have Bryan Leonard and Andy Lang with me here today on the show. Carmine is on the train right now. He is on his way to go visit the Detroit office. He's going to see them tomorrow and go to a game with them. So he will be back on the show this week, but I think he didn't really want to test the luck with the Wi-Fi on the train, and we'll give him some time off to relax there. I've got a great crew here. Bryan Leonard, red hot. Andy Lang, red hot. And guys, I'm running a little bit cold right now, a little bit up and down. I'd love to be on a show with you guys and just soak it all in, because, I mean, we got a guy on a huge streak, someone that earned like 80 units in like a handful of days. That's Andy Lang. These guys are on fire. Let's not waste any time. I'll bring you in. Bryan Leonard, you are on a huge streak. You have a great promo for us as well for 1 week. How are things, Bryan? What's up, man?
Everything is going great. Yeah, it's amazing when you get some time off and go to spring training and reset your batteries. And ever since I've come back, yeah, it's been really good. 13 straight winners, and I got a 5% going today. We 37 and 18 in our history on 5% plays, and got a great 7-day package, and I'm sure we got some promos for that. So, yeah, really excited and excited to work with Andy, because Andy, what was the day you had the other day when you won like 40 units in one day or something? That blew me away.
No one was more surprised than I was, Bryan. Probably Johnny Detroit was quite baffled by it. Yeah, it was Saturday. It was one of those random days, 39 units in one day, and then ended up being 81 units in 7 days. I would like to make it very clear that is not repeatable over the next week, okay? So if you are purchasing my services and I come in just shy of that 81 units over the next 7 days, please do not be disappointed. So Bryan, I'm super excited whenever you have a 5% play in the NHL. It has my complete attention. So it's the only 3 games. It's awesome that you have a 5% play. So really good best bet for Bryan. I'm looking forward to that one cashing tonight.
Yeah, very happy to have both you guys here today. We only have a few games here on the slate, but we'll try and dive deep into them, break things down. I know Andy has a same game parlay for the first game we're going to break down, and it's a good one. It's a good game to have one of those type of bets for. Before we jump into that, though, like you said, Bryan, 13 straight winners. You guys at home can use the promo code PITCH7, PITCH7, to get 7 days from Bryan for $69. That's PITCH7 at Bryan's homepage there. So if you want to get his 5% play tonight, those cost $35. You know, you can go ahead and get his 5% play in that 7-day pass. That's PITCH7. Get a 1 week pass for $69. And Andy, I hear you telling people about things that aren't repeatable, because, well, I've been pretty much like break even or a little bit down all NHL season. I'll be completely transparent. If you ask people on Twitter, they would tell you that I've lost 4 bankrolls. And that's because last year I was up 155 units on the season. So when you do that, the expectations are extremely high. And I completely understand that. You have some bad nights here, some bad nights there, and then all of a sudden you're public enemy number 1. So I just wanted to tell everybody out there, I recognize it. I'm not hiding. But if you guys come at me with some crazy tweets, I'm not going to answer. It's not me hiding. I'm just not going to be abused online on social media. So we'll get back at it today. There's 3 games, but I do like these ones as well, and I believe these guys do too. So let's not waste any time, guys. Panthers, Leafs, Islanders, Capitals, Wild, and Avalanche. Let's start things off in Toronto with the Florida Panthers taking on the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs minus 145. We have the Panthers plus 125. And here it is, another total of 7, shaded slightly towards the under at minus 115. Brian, I want to ask you how you've been handling the wild card races and in both conferences and the divisional matchups. How much does that go into your handicapping when you're looking at these matchups? How much a team needs to win obviously doesn't mean they're going to win, but does that go into your handicapping at all here in this one?
Yeah, it definitely does. It has an effect on this game, but it also has an effect on many of the games that we've seen. And a lot of my profit has been going against Calgary. I didn't use them yesterday, but I think you had LA in that game, and if I used it, I would have used LA. Calgary's been overpriced for the most part. Edmonton's been overpriced, although if I used that game yesterday, I would have used Edmonton. I think they're to the point now where one of the other goalies for the Knights comes back, and Quick's going to be quickly terminated because he has, at least in my opinion, he hasn't played well. But yeah, you always have to take it into account. And normally you want to go against what the public is looking at. If a team is in a must-win situation, that means they must not have won many times that year. So we could take advantage of that. But other times the spot screams out for certain teams, and I think we find that in this one. Yeah, in the Florida game tonight, I like Florida in this one. It sets up similar to my 4% last night on Tampa Bay. You got an underdog on the road. Tampa Bay had lost 4 games, and they had been embarrassed by Carolina the last time they played them, 6-0. Very similar to this game tonight with Florida. They come into this game, lost 3 games straight, including 2 at home, including a 4-goal loss at home to Toronto just last Thursday. They're coming off that loss to Ottawa on the road. I know they're fighting for the playoffs, but still, I think we're seeing some value here against Toronto. Toronto's a team playing a little bit better than they had in the past, but it's still a situation for me where I know Florida is going to give a full effort. And even the players talked about that. They said, we're not getting the victories, but we're happy with the way we're playing. We're playing well. We're doing well. The defense, they're not giving up many of those goals around the net that they did earlier by defensive mistakes. So they're confident in the way they're playing, even though losing 4 in a row. That's the kind of team I'm looking to back and getting them at a nice underdog price here against Toronto.
It most certainly is a great price, and with the Maple Leafs clinching the playoffs and pretty much knowing the position they're in now, Tampa Bay, I don't know. I mean, they get that win yesterday, Brian, but it looks to me like Toronto might have home ice in that series. So to say the Panthers are definitely playing for more than the Leafs, I think would be a statement that'd be very true in this one. Andy, does that go into anything to do with your player props or your betting at all when you look at these things? I know that Florida is a desperate team by all means going into this game.
Not really. I listen, props. Yeah, you look at motivation, but I don't really think I take too much into consideration with some of these guys. I mean, you look at some of the bigger name guys and you can see them. Here they come. Talking about you, Mr. David Pastrnak. Just go look at his shots on goal, what he's done like the past 7 games. So really, I'm just looking more at the stars because this time of the year, the stars shine. They're shooting the puck a lot more. But Carmine requested that I do the don't play the same game parlay for this game. So let's do it.
It's time for Andy's Don't Play This Same Game Parlay.
All right. Unfortunately, we hit the last one, and I told everyone not to play it. So let's see if we can do it again here. All right, Panthers, Maple Leafs. So here's how I'm kind of attacking this this game. So Florida, they've lost 4 straight. Gave up 21 goals in those 4 games. Their defense stinks. I watch a lot of the Florida Panthers because I've been just cashing left and right on their guys to go over the shots on goal, and I swear. Andy and Bryan, if you ever watch the Florida Panthers, when the other team has the puck, there is always a wide open guy cutting to the net. Like they just it's a conga line of open guys cutting to the net. So I got to start with the Maple Leafs over 2.5 goals because Florida just can't stop anybody. I'm also going to take the Maple Leafs. I'm going to take the alternate puck line plus 1.5. If Florida does win, I don't see this being a 2-goal game, and Florida just seems to be really down and out. It's funny when I watch these guys a lot. You can just see the local broadcasters starting to get more and more depressed with each and every game. So give me the Leafs plus 1.5, and then I'm going to go the total goals for the first period under 2.5. It's hit in 8 out of 9 games for Toronto and 5 straight for Florida. So even though they're giving up a ton of goals throughout the game, it's not hitting in the first period. So you get Toronto over 2.5 goals on the team total, Toronto plus 1.5 on the alt puck line, and then under 2.5 goals in the first period. And that comes out to plus 140. And I have discovered something on these same game parlays. So if you're a same game parlay bettor, if you want to get really good odds, take 2 plays that kind of contradict each other. And I mean, take a look at that parlay. Over 2.5 goals for Toronto, but then there's an under in there as well. So you have 2 things that kind of contradict each other, and it shoots the odds through the roof. I've discovered this in hockey and some other sports. So there's a little pro tip. But this is the don't play this same game parlay, Toronto and Florida. So good luck, Carm. Let's cash this guy.
We love it. We love it. And just so you guys know, if anybody ever tells you don't play this, chances are it's probably going to hit. So do as you will with that information. But Andy did cash it last time. You had something there, Bryan?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask him that exact same question. And I said, well, that's not correlated at all, because that's why they give you more, because they're worried about correlated parlays. If you're playing Toronto over first period goals, over second period goals, and over full game goals, obviously that's correlated, and that's an advantage for the bettor, which is why they make you pay more money for it. So I stole my question from Andy. Yes, it makes sense now. Gotcha.
It looks to me that Andy will be cheering for a 2-0 Maple Leafs first period. It's kind of what I think you're looking for. Obviously, not Bryan, but I'll tell you what I'm cheering for is I'm going to go just with one player. That's Carter Verhaeghe. I'm going to take his over on shots on goal. Maple Leafs do rank 6th in the league in shots on goal allowed. They have been a much better defensive team than in years past this year. Verhaeghe's number is 3.5. It was 2.5 for some parts of the year, but he's hit this in 5 straight games. And his ice time has been like very, very high, minimally at least 20 minutes per game. He's out there on the power play as well. And, you know, Andy, you know this just as much as me. It's sometimes the shot attempt stat can be a little bit faulty because guys just miss the net or whatever, or get a lot of shots blocked. But we saw 8 shot attempts last game versus Ottawa, 7 versus New York, 9 the last time out against Toronto, 14 shot attempts against Philly, and 10 shot attempts against Detroit just a few days back. So this is a guy that's trigger happy, to say the least, right now. Andy mentions those Top Guns are doing a lot of shooting, and I think Carter Verhaeghe is someone worth looking at. And like I've talked about with my player prop betting, I'm not saying you can't make money when you're laying juice, but lately I've just been trying to control it a bit more. Plus 100, guys, over 3.5 shots on goal for a guy that's hit 5 straight. I thought that was a pretty good wager there. So hopefully we'll try and cash this one. And got to love that. I mean, we've got a player prop, a same game parlay, and a side play from the 3 of us. That's how you mix it up with the first game of the day here, guys. I love it. Let's move on to the second one. We'll start with Andy Lang here. We have the New York Islanders and Washington Capitals going head to head. It's a pick 'em here in this one, Andy. Total is at 5.5. What do you have for us in this one?
Well, Andrew, it's also how you eat up time when there's 3 games on the slate. Let's take
well, you didn't have to say it, but yeah, I mean,
we're all adults here. All right, Islanders and Capitals. Let's take a look at Bo Horvat over 2.5 shots on goal. You have to look at some of these season stats. And you also have to be careful because of look at what's happening recently. So Washington, their stats for the season say that they don't allow a ton of shots on goal, But recently they've been getting peppered. 28 shots from Chicago, 40 from Pittsburgh and Minnesota, and 38 from Columbus. So just in their last few games, they're taking a lot of shots on goal. So you've got a team that's giving up a lot of shots on goal, and Horvat 10-3 to the over on this prop, and we're getting a great price, minus 118. A lot of times we have to lay juice with some of these guys that are on streaks, and that's fine. If you follow my plays, you know I'm perfectly fine with doing that. If I'm laying minus 150 on a guy that's hit 11 out of 13 games, I'm still coming out way ahead. But to get a guy that's 10-3 to the over on this prop at a great price of minus 118, it's a fantastic price. He had 3 against Washington a couple weeks ago, and that was in a game that the Islanders only scored. They scored low goals in that one. I think they only had 1. So even in a game that they only scored 1 goal, he gets over his shot total. So I'm not really looking at Washington's season totals for shots allowed. I'm looking at what they've allowed recently. It's a ton. I like Horvat at this great price to get over 2.5 shots on goal.
Certainly a great price there on that one. Like you said, Andy, really good point about not just looking at the overall big picture. I feel like it's really important for handicappers to not just say, this team as a whole through 70 games is doing this. As we know, things change all the time, every week, every month. Great stuff there. And hey, if you think a team might not score a bunch of goals, it does not mean a player might not get a bunch of shots. So great stuff there with Bo Horvat. Bryan, you like the Florida Panthers, a team itching for that playoff berth. New York, they're kind of in a better position right now, but does that make you like them tonight with their motivation here? What do you think?
Yeah, they're currently in the number 1 wildcard spot, so they're in pretty good shape here. But I've been very confused about the way they played lately. When they play an elite team, not saying Washington is, but if they play an elite team, they beat Toronto 7-2. They beat the Islanders 5-1. And between those 2 games, they lose to Columbus and lose to Buffalo in a shutout. So while they're in pretty good shape here, I don't really like them in this game. If you take a look at season to date, and I know we were just talking about that, but on the season, you've got in the wild card race, the Islanders are number 1 and Washington's number 6. Washington's not going to make the playoffs. But yet Washington is +5 in goals on the season, and the Islanders are +18. Take a look at the Islanders on the road, including the overtime losses, 16-21 on the road. Is that a team you want in a pick'em game? I think Washington is the side here. They haven't been playing well. The game is going to mean more to them from just a confidence standpoint. And we're looking at basically a pick'em game here. And I know that Washington beat them earlier this month 5-1. So you do have the revenge angle for the Islanders, but not sure that's enough to get me there. So a slight lane here with the home team in Washington and what I consider to be a pretty good price. The line's moved in that direction a little bit, and I think that's the right way.
Bryan, I was watching Wager Talk today before March Madness started, and you guys know how Teddy is. He was asking everybody, do you guys make brackets? Do you make brackets? And pretty much trying to set them up to say brackets are dumb, in Teddy fashion. He's like, I still make some of them, but hey, they're dumb for handicapping. Why am I saying this? Well, you look at the records of these 2 teams, right? Look at where they are in the standings right now. Look at what they've done as a whole over the past 2 months. And like you said, Bryan, it's confusing how the Islanders have played, but seeing minus 110 on both sides, it also is a little bit confusing because I think at a whole here, this has probably been a better Islanders team for a good portion of this season, I think. And the Washington Capitals have been very inconsistent, but yet this is the number they give us. You've got the wild card secured, a Washington Capitals team that, is not going to make the postseason. They have not been really consistent all year long. And it's just interesting to me to see this because you see how sometimes seeds and standings and statistics don't always equal to what we're seeing here. And it could be about a matchup. It could be about history. It could be just about a team being better than what the record might say that they are. I said I was going to start doing these, and if I'm going to do them, I got to be more consistent with them. I like the draw here, guys. I do like this game to have some goals. But I'm going to go plus 320 on this game to go to overtime here. This Islanders team down the stretch for them, every single point matters despite them potentially securing their position. they're happy with an overtime 1 point. The Washington Capitals right now, I think that they're going to be a team that gives teams troubles down the stretch. If they're not going to have a good season, I can tell you what, this Capitals team will want to play spoiler down the stretch. Some teams just bend over and fold. I can't see the Capitals being that team, which is why I do think we could see something like a 3-3 game going into overtime, 4-4. I think this one could shock people with how entertaining it is. But like I said, if this game is tied up with a few minutes to go, don't be surprised if the Islanders push this one into overtime. And a reminder, guys, look at last year in the playoffs, last year before the playoffs, when you bet these draws, you don't have to hit it the same percentage when you're betting minus 110s. These are plus 320s, plus 350s, a little bit of a different price here with these ones. And look every single night when the NHL card is done, just scroll through your app and see how many games are going to overtime. You only need to hit a few of these to cash and make some money. So I think I'm going to have a piece tonight of plus 320, the draw with the Capitals and Islanders. So hopefully we can cash that one in and get a nice little plus price there on that one. I'll definitely be betting those more in the playoffs. However, Minnesota Wild, Colorado Avalanche, our last game to go over here, guys. Colorado minus 160, Minnesota plus 135, total at 6, shaded towards the under as it's at minus 125. Curious if that does get to 5.5 at some point during today. Bryan, what do you think here about this Avalanche team? You know, they dealt with injuries. They've kind of gone through it all this season. They lost some guys in the offseason last year, picked up, a couple guys, probably not nearly as many as they had last year. But despite playing some weaker teams, they've been battling. But here they are now approaching the playoffs. They're a big favorite there in the West. What do you think?
Yeah, they've been very consistent as of late. Get good hockey coming out of them for about the last month or so. They've been very good. You take a look at the standings with about 7-8 games left in the season for most teams. Maybe 8-9 games. But you take a look at this division, and right now in points, you got Minnesota at 95, you got Colorado at 94, Dallas at 94. It's important in the last 2 weeks of the season here that somebody comes out and wins this division. I think you don't want to be playing like a Seattle in the playoffs. You want to be playing the lesser teams coming into here, the Calgarys or the Winnipeg. So this is a very important game, and usually when you have games that are very important, I look at the under. And you mentioned they possibly going to 5.5. That was what my thought process was coming into this. Is I thought it was going to open 5.5. It opened 6 minus 25. There is a 5.5 over 18 out there at Heritage, but for the most part, I think this game's going to go under as the day goes on. So if you do like the under, that's the way I would play it here. And Minnesota is a team that, if you're taking a look at their defense, they've been playing great defense as of late. They held New Jersey to 1 just a couple of days ago. They held Seattle to 1. When they play a quality team, the defense really comes through. Last time they played Calgary, they gave up 1 in a shootout. So this is the kind of thing I'm looking for when you play. You're gonna have some games that go over when you're playing teams that are out of the playoffs. Just more of a loose situation. You saw that when they played Philadelphia the other day, and there was 9 goals as it goes to a shootout. But when you have two teams that know each other as well as these two, I like the under. As long as that 6 still out there, that's my play on this game.
All right, looking towards the under, and I agree. In big games like this, you definitely can see low-scoring contests. Minnesota, though, it's weird how they've kind of changed their identity. They've been a under team all year long, and then lately going over. We'll see if they get back into their usual ways of unders. Andy, what do you have for us in this game?
Well, Bryan mentioned Minnesota having good defense, so I'm going to look at an under play here, and I will take JT Compher to not have a point in this game. Wild have allowed 1 goal to opponents in 3 out of their last 4 games. And we look at the Avalanche. Okay, they're scoring a bunch of goals. In their last 8 games, 4 of those, they scored 5 goals. One of those games, they had 4 goals. One of those games, they had 3 goals. Those teams were the Ducks, the Coyotes twice, the Blackhawks, the Red Wings, and the Senators. Not exactly a tough defensive matchup there. So I think the Avalanche are going to be playing one of the better defenses that they've seen in a while. And Comfort just doesn't score a ton of points throughout the season. And there was a streak where he had 5 points in 4 games, but that was when they were playing teams like the Ducks and the Coyotes and the Black Wings. And what's happened in the last couple of games, he's regressed back to the mean. He does not have a point in the last 2 games, and you're getting at this at slightly plus money. So I get a really tough matchup. I get a guy that doesn't score a lot of points. I got him to score kind of a bunch of points in 4 games, which he doesn't normally do. And now his regression has started. So I think Comfort to not have a point tonight is a really solid play, especially at plus money.
You got to love that. I mean, you're getting a guy not to do something at plus money. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many guys out there, Andy, on a hockey team, and you're getting someone not. I saw a video actually floating around Twitter about that, where this guy's like, all I see, because you on Prop It Up the other day, we're talking about don't be scared to bet unders, and this guy's video is pretty funny. He's like, all I see is over. All I see is this hockey player to do this and do that. He's like, you guys realize there's 20 players on a team? He's like, not every guy can hit their player prop, you know? And it's true,
so
right?
True.
It's true.
So true.
Like, I don't know. Like the other day, there was a big game for the Oilers, or it might have even been, not yesterday, but 2 days ago, I think, or something like that. They had an awesome game. McDavid didn't score a goal. McDavid didn't go over his shots on goal. He didn't get an assist. So if anybody didn't bet the game, but they only bet McDavid, they lost. I mean, sometimes there's going to be guys that just don't have good performances. You talk about the strength of schedule for Colorado. And look, I know, hey, Arizona, don't look now. They've actually been okay recently. They haven't been just awful. They've been okay. I'll give them that name tag. But here's the deal. I like over 2.5 team total goals for the visitors here for the Minnesota Wild. So I'm looking at kind of the matchups that Colorado has gone through lately. Andy mentioned it with Anaheim, Arizona twice, and throw Chicago in there, throw Detroit in there. This definitely is a little bit of a step up in competition for them to face. And Minnesota, whether it's been them doing the scoring or their opponent, they've been involved in some higher scoring games, but it's mostly been them. I mean, like 5 against Seattle, 4 even in a loss against Philadelphia, 5 against the Capitals out there. So to get 3 goals at a minus 130-ish price, I feel like it's a pretty good number here on the Wild. So I'll take that team total. I'll take the full game side out of the picture and just rock with the team total here in this one for the Minnesota Wild. Brian, 13-game winning streak, 13-game run. That's unbelievable. I am cheering for you to go against somebody. We don't want to mention his name, but against somebody who we know has a pretty good run that they were on at one point. And he lives in the same place as you. So I'll put it that way. But you're going to keep it going. You got a big play tonight. We got that Pitch 7 promo code 1 week for $69. What else do you have going on? Do you have anything up for MLB? Anything you're recommending? Any shows you're on? What do you have for the viewers?
Yeah, you mentioned Pitch 7. The reason why I believe they went with pitch is because baseball season is right around the corner, starts tomorrow. And other than the last 2 years, I dominated baseball. I think I've figured out a little bit on how to get some of that back this year. I talked to Andy. I'll be probably doing some props this year in baseball, but I'm excited about the baseball season. As I mentioned, it was just in Arizona last week, or a couple of weeks ago. So really excited about baseball season. The only play I have up today is the 5% play, 37-18 on our history on NHL 5%. 13 straight winners. I remember back when Marco, and every time I go out to lunch, I think he mentions it, he had 25 straight winners in Major League Baseball at one point, and he'll tell you he never played anything above a 120 favorite. That's pretty amazing to be able to do that, and congratulations to him, but I'm coming after you. We're looking to get number 14 tonight, and I texted him, and I said, ever since you went to Pittsburgh, I've been on a hell of a hot streak, and I haven't seen you. I said, nothing personal, but keep the fuck away from me. But yeah, I'm really excited about today's card and really excited about baseball starting tomorrow.
Awesome. I wasn't going to say his name. I didn't know if you were a superstitious guy, so I was kind of just floating it out there that I believe in you. But hey, who needs superstitions when you're kicking ass like Brian is right now? What do you have for us for best bet material, Brian?
Let's go back to the first game, and I know Andy liked the other side a little bit, but I like the Florida side, and you talked about a little bit about where the line was. This was very similar, as I mentioned, to the Tampa Bay game yesterday, and Tampa Bay took money on the day, and Tampa Bay wins 4-0. I would be very happy for that to continue here with the Florida that same way. It's a team that you're going to get a great effort from, and Toronto, and the Canadians would know that Toronto's very inconsistent, and it's not a team I'm looking to back right now. So give me Florida as a nice underdog in this game.
All right, Florida Panthers at a great price there for Brian's best bet here on Puck Time. Make sure you guys grab his 5% play, or better yet, use that promo code over at wagertalk.com. That's pitch7 for 1 week for $69. Andy, you always have packages up early. You're always prepared. You got things going up for all kinds of different sports. I feel like if I asked you how many sports you're handicapping right now, the show would run into Wager Talk today. So we might not have time for that. But what do you have going on for clients? What are you betting right now? And what can your clients expect for the baseball season?
Baseball season, we'll start off slow. We'll get a read on guys, and then we'll go into props. So I'm not gonna promise a lot of plays at the beginning of the season. I mean, honestly, maybe the first couple of weeks we might not have any. Here's what you can look forward to. There is a great Formula One race that is this weekend, and there are great UFC events coming up, and there are some great soccer games. We actually have 2 5% plays that are up right now. One is in soccer, and one is in UFC. And we also have quite a few wagers that are up right now involving Formula One and the golf tournament. It's not a ton of plays, but if you have the domestic books and can do the same game parlays, I highly, highly recommend you get involved in our action this weekend. Obviously, NHL and NBA is running extremely hot. We're actually going to lower the volume a little bit on NBA and NHL just because I'm not sure we can sustain that winning percentage. So we'll take it a little bit easy, but we have very, very high expectations for this weekend. And then Andrew, next week is the Masters. So huge. That's one of the bigger weeks for me and what I do and for my clients. So very, very excited. We cashed a 5% play on women's college basketball on Monday night. And that might be the only 5% women's play I think I will ever put up. The amount of messages that I got throughout the game from people that have never watched a women's game is just too much for my heart to take. The play wasn't looking great. Everyone let me know about it. Then it won. And the amount of messages that got deleted was truly hilarious. This was on my phone. This was on Twitter. So please, if we have a big bet going, don't let me know until after the game what your thoughts are, please. Like, I get it. I'm watching. I know it's the second quarter and it doesn't look great, but it's a 4-quarter game. Anyway, I've digressed. All right. Best bet, William Nylander under. We're going to take another under here, Andrew. 3.5 shots on goal. He's gone under this total 7 straight games and 13 out of 15. And the Panthers actually don't allow a ton of shots. They allow a lot of goals, but not a lot of shots. Like 3 out of the 4 games they've lost, they've only given up 26 or fewer shots on goal. But they're very high-quality shots. We talked about the guys cutting to the net with wide-open shots. So the other team does not need to fire a bunch of shots away. They just need to bide their time and wait for the perfect opportunity for yet another blown defensive assignment and the goalie missing the puck completely. He went under against Florida a few games ago. And in that game, Toronto only had 26 shots on goal, but 5 goals. So again, they're looking for quality, not quantity. So Nylander, he's on a nice trend. I think it's a sneaky good matchup. Take William at Nylander under 3.5 shots on goal tonight.
All right, Nylander from the Maple Leafs under shots on goal tonight for Andy Lang. Andy has not one but 2 5% plays up. One of them, I believe, is for the weekend, and one of them is for a little bit later on in the UFC, which is an unbelievable card. I've got a really good bet that I like in that one as well. And Andy, yeah, there's nothing funnier than getting a DM saying, dude, are you watching this game? Oh yeah. I released it, I bet it, and I watch all my games, I bet. So yeah, I'm watching this game. Or I can't believe this is happening. It's like, well, I'm watching the game just like you. So I can't believe we're down 3-1 in the second period. Yeah, me either. But I'm watching the game. You don't have to give me a score update. We've all been through it. Don't DM handicappers and tell them what the score is.
Andrew, a guy sent me a picture throwing a ticket in the trash can, and then the bet hit, and he sends me a message that says, "I love you." Like,
now, did you answer that message? Did you answer that message?
Listen, if you send me a bad message, just know I screenshot them. So you can delete them all you want. I still got them, and I am not shy about posting them. So anytime I get that notification and it's got negativity in it and the game's not over, bet your bottom dollar that is screenshotted, and you will be hearing from me.
I'm hoping I can keep some screenshots I've got and have a really good playoffs, because I'm a little bit up and down this year in the NHL, guys. But my best bet for the show today, we're going back to a pick I talked about earlier. We're going with Carter Verhaeghe over 3.5 shots on goal, getting a great plus 100, even money price here on this one. He plays for the Florida Panthers, and I understand Leafs defense is actually pretty good. But this guy with his shot attempts, 8, 7, 9, 14, he is clearly shooting the puck a lot for his team right now. Clearly someone that has the green light. I'll take Verhaeghe over shots on goal for my best bet today. Brian Leonard with Florida Panthers for his best bet, and Andy Lang going under with William Nylander and his shots on goal. Thanks so much for watching, guys. On behalf of Andy and Brian, I'm Andrew. We'll see you tomorrow here on Puck Time.
If you love $9 Monday and $2 Tuesday, you're really going to appreciate our new Throwback Thursday when all daily packages are slashed in half. Yes, you heard right. At both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, all Thursday daily packages are now 50% off. This means that a 4% package will be only $12.50. A 5% top-rated play, normally priced at $35, will be only $17.50. And the hottest sales item of the day, get a full day of access from the handicappers of your choice. That's one day of every applicable play they release, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $39 for only $19.50. The best part is you can come back every Thursday to take advantage of this limited time 50% off spring off.